This battle story begins with Ukrainian groups preparing to support their brothers in arms in a planned assault on Russian positions. They moved out in 2 Humvees, with 2 tanks providing support. Their brothers are holding off the Russian soldiers' assault, who are growing in number more and more. They are managing the task for now, but the tension is rising. 2 Humvees were driving in the rear, while the tank moved up front to provide suppressive fire. Then, one tank hits a mine.
Давайте, танк там раньше взорвался!
Всем группам выдвигаемся. Танк взорвался раньше. Высаживаемся возле взорванного танка. Как приняли, прием.
The group commander gives the order to advance, after which they come under fire from all sides. The Russians already know about them and begin to engage. The Humvees need to reach the disabled tank as quickly as possible. Russian soldiers quickly take firing positions. The operation did not go according to plan. The group needs to gather and move to cover. The longer they stay in this location, the greater the risk of losing their men. The Humvee provides suppressive fire and occasionally maneuvers to reposition. It then also hits a mine, and the crew immediately abandons the vehicle.
Поруч там машина підірвалась на міні.
Юра, де ваші з камера?
Прошу.
Де ваші хлопці?
Я не бачу, хто за мною, я був останнім.
Камера підірвали?
Да, на міні. Все заміновано протитанковими, все тут навал.
Russian soldiers cannot miss such an opportunity to open fire.
Що, братан, йобай, бо вони зараз бачать, що в них є танчик крить.
Та звичайно, але танчик будуть бити.
The Ukrainian soldiers decide to retreat and successfully reach the nearest cover, a trench. There, they can provide medical aid to those in need.
О, дякую, брат. Ось що, ступенечка. Дякую. Дай.
The remaining soldiers from the group who are still in good condition continued the fight. The second tank, which remained intact, continued to suppress enemy positions with fire. The tank's cover is crucial. Without its support, the infantry would not have advanced even a meter. Russian soldiers wouldn't have let them get that close. Now that the group is very close, a Russian machine gunner opens fire on them. Waiting for the machine gunner to start reloading, one Ukrainian soldier throws a grenade. Thanks to good communication with the commander, the drone pilot who provided crucial intel, and a couple of grenades, they managed to clear the trench. After that, a Russian kamikaze drone approaches them, but they managed to shoot it down. It burned for a while before finally exploding.
підірвались за місце.
The Russian soldiers were not expecting that after such an unsuccessful assault. The Ukrainian troops would immediately launch a bold push against their positions. Meanwhile, Russian soldiers don't stop and continue preparing for the assault. A Russian BMP appears within the sight of the Ukrainian soldiers. The team of FPV drones deploy and prepare to engage the combat vehicle. The drone moves into position to strike the vehicle, and at that moment, it hits a mine. After that, the drone operator needs to finish the job. The Russian assault troops panic, running around the vehicle, unsure of what to do next or where to retreat. The drone operator waited for the right moment and directed the drone precisely at the target. One Russian assault soldier seems to have fallen asleep on the move. Otherwise, it's hard to explain why he was standing right next to the vehicle.
Начинайте движение! Вперед! Вперед!
Russian command doesn't spare its men, so they demand results regardless of any losses. In these shots, you can see the first soldier walking right past the very anti-tank mines they later hit and exploded on. The assault group already realizes they were likely sent on a one-way mission. There is no way back. You can tell by their gait that they have come to terms with what lies ahead. Then, the Ukrainian drones begin their work. While one drone was preparing to drop its payload, another had already done the job, flying straight into the target. One Russian soldier even manages to shoot down a Ukrainian drone with a precise hit.
Продолжить движение! Ни в коем случае! Нигде не останавливаться!
Here, we can see a Russian soldier firing a grenade launcher towards his own comrade and hitting him directly. The assault continues, and Ukrainian soldiers are holding their ground quite well so far.
Бачу, це двіж охуєнний, я в рот їбав. Ха-ха, блядь! Поки я живий, я живий! Тут вони. Граната!
An APC carrying infantry on top moves forward to support Russian soldiers, but they're already met by Ukrainian drones. They also come under fire from a Ukrainian ATGM, which fires a shot but misses the APC. At this moment, a Russian assault soldier manages to shoot down a drone with a precise shot. They continue their advance. So far, no one has been able to stop them. Meanwhile, an interesting situation is unfolding. The Ukrainian drone team that was monitoring the APC gets intercepted by Russian operators, who launch their own drones at their hideout.
Відео якої нам вдалося перехопити.
Да, прямо на нас, прямо на нас. Опа!
The Russian APC continues moving towards the Ukrainian trenches, providing suppressive fire as they advance. But despite the Russian drone attack on the Ukrainian operator's location, the Ukrainians launched their own drones in a last-ditch effort. A perfectly precise hit, and the combat vehicle is blown into the air. This is some truly incredible footage. But Russian command does not stop there. It keeps sending more and more vehicles into the assault, regardless of the losses. The next vehicle moves out and makes the same critical mistake as the others. It hits an anti-tank mine. After that, the drone operator finishes off the disabled vehicle. Immediately, another vehicle appears, moving in for the assault. This is how the Russians storm Ukrainian positions, throwing everything they have into the fight, without hesitation and without sparing even their own men. The combat vehicle catches fire and burns down to ashes. It feels like this will go on forever, and it didn't take long before Russian commanders sent another column of armored vehicles into the assault. This time, they deployed 2 tanks and 2 infantry fighting vehicles, and they walk right into an ambush. Thanks to excellent reconnaissance from Ukrainian drones, a Ukrainian soldier fires a shot from a javelin. The column is halted. The infantry decides to retreat, and then another missile strikes, and FPV drones begin their work, confidently taking apart the Russian armored column. Then, one of the armored vehicle's ammunition detonates, causing a massive explosion. Another assault has failed, and Russian commanders are, to say the least, quite furious. Not long after, even more armored vehicles were destroyed in this area. One of the assault soldiers, without thinking twice, decided to hide under a combat vehicle, right where the anti-tank mines were planted. As you can imagine, hiding didn't really work out, and I think no further comments are needed after that.